What brought me to Rolfing was I had a back injury like 3 years ago, and that kind of left me with some chronic pain for about a year. And then I kind of came out of that pain and then started having pain in my feet. So I was having a lot of health anxiety, and I was having a lot of fear about my body and what was going on in my body. That was one of the best things I got out of Rolfing. Learning to trust my body even when it was hurting or it was changing. It was just like, oh yeah, well, let's work with that and let's be curious, rather than being told by someone, this is wrong with your body, and then feeling your body just begin to tense more.
First and foremost, I would define Rolfing as a process of education and discovery. It's the most important thing. It is also, secondly, a form of body work and body education. You know, when I think about an educational process, or I think what we've been taught about education, is that there's going to be somebody telling us what we ought to learn. But I find Rolfing very refreshing because it is a modality where people are allowed the context to learn and discover through a process who they are, where they're going, and how they're made. And that's the kind of education that happens from the inside out and not from the outside in.
Yes, I was having a lot of pain in my right shoulder, neck, and side of my head, and even a headache that would sometimes last longer than a day even. So the Rolfing actually helped with that pain almost after the first treatment. I was really surprised at how quickly I got results from that. Almost immediately the headache and the pain was pretty much all taken care of very quickly.
I think my body and my mind are both less stiff, and I pay attention to those things. Like, I think about, get some movement in your body. My description of Rolfing would be, I'm gonna go back to trust again, learning to trust your body, learning to understand throughout the different sessions, because they all kind of focus on different areas of the body, how everything is connected.
I found that it had a lot of unexpected benefits in my martial arts practice. So I was feeling much more connected to the earth, more grounded, more in tune with my body, able to make movements that were more predictable, more precise.
A couple practical things to expect from a Rolfing session is to be in communication, and I think that's the biggest part of it. So communication and also being on the table and being in some movement. So we do some talking, we do some table work, and then we do some small movements in the body. The Rolfing technique, or the skills used, is client specific. So one of the great things about Rolfing is that Rolfing is a general discipline that gives a practitioner strategies to work individually with each person. To have that availability to work with different layers of touch and sensitivity levels is something that Rolfing is really good for. I'll just speak in a little bit to the Rolfing process itself is just as if you're coming in and you're just wanting to know a little bit of what it's like and what I'm working in is, that first of all, we meet and we talk a little bit, and as I'm watching your movement, I'll notice how your body's moving through space, but particularly what I work with more on the table is what's called the fascia. And it's different than the muscles. I'm not working at the bones, and I'm not necessarily working to rub out a painful spot in your muscles, but I'm looking for that interconnected layer that is weaving in and out of your entire system.
Oh yeah, I quit smoking. I still haven't smoked.
Okay, so that's...
I was smoking, and I was smoking a lot because I had all this anxiety, and I smoked off and on, but about after the third session, I smoked a couple days after that, and it just was so inherently disgusting to me. Like, psychologically, I still wanted it, but Sunday will be 15 weeks I haven't smoked. It's not like Rolfing cured my desire to smoke, but it put me in touch with my body in a way, and my mind, that it no longer made sense.